So, my chemistry teacher has a playful rivalry with the other teachers on her hall, and yesterday a teacher anonymously left a note on my teacher's board that said, "My students are better than your students." So instead of guessing who it was, my teacher went around the entire hall and stole pens out of every classroom and, as an experiment in chromatography, got us to drop water and rubbing alcohol on the note and sample marks made by the stolen pens to see what color the ink turned. And when we figured out whose pen was used to write the note, she went to the teacher in the middle of class and confronted her about it. For you guys asking, it was the forensics teacher. Do you ever catch a whiff of a scent that smells unmistakably of something really random, like the 23rd day of first grade, and you're just like, how did I remember that? Someone actually put this into words. Concept. All normal checkouts are replaced with self-checkouts, but instead of losing their jobs, the cashiers now get to sit on top of lifeguard chairs and periodically throw wine glasses at me like Dracula while I buy my goods. What is a customer? A miserable little pile of coupons. Can y'all please just follow the government's instructions so we can knock this COVID-19 out and be done? I feel like a kindergartner that keeps losing more recess time because one or two kids can't follow directions. I work with kindergarteners, and I have to say, kindergarteners are better at following directions, only because they are really good at policing each other and throwing another kid under the bus if they step out of line. So cold-blooded at such a young age. They gonna do just fine, lol. Old people. Nobody cares about me, and nobody ever does anything for me. Younger people. We've set up this quarantine that's stressful and unpleasant for everyone, explicitly because we fear for and value your lives. Old people. F you. I'm going to the shops. 2020. It's the year we get our finances in order. I posted this a week ago and it did not age well. This post single-handedly f***ed the entire worldwide economy. I don't want to hear the argument that billionaires do good with philanthropy ever again. Jeff Bezos could give all of his employees safe conditions, sick leave, and hazard pay, and also fund accessible testing for all of them, for everybody really, and still have more money than God, and he chooses the F not to tax billionaires out of existence. 2020. The only way to live with a cat. I see you are doing nothing. Guess what? It is time for me to cat. This reporter's reaction to Donald Trump shitting all over the most obvious softball question is my new most favorite thing of ever. What was the question? Something along the lines of what would you say to the American people who are scared right now? And his answer was like, I'd say that you're a terrible reporter. Yikes. White House correspondents are some of the balanciest people in the world, especially in this day and age. Imagine. Your job is to sit in front of the most powerful man in the country, if not the world, and interrogate him on national TV, in front of God and everyone. And that man is both an idiot and hates everyone in your profession. This guy probably went to college for journalism and clawed his way up through the industry for years to get to the point where he can be a White House correspondent and is putting himself and potentially his co-workers and family in danger of being infected because he's got to leave the house every day to interrogate the people who work in the executive branch and report back to his news agency. Because that's his freaking job, even with confirmed cases on Capitol Hill. And then he asks a baseline simple question, and the president calls him stupid. What other response is there other than that? My god. I'm just so sorry for reporters during this time. Sex. Yes. Crash Bandicoot license to fuck. It was revoked. Why? What did he do? I just accidentally broke into a supermarket. The door was open, so I went in and started filling up my basket, and this security guard started screaming at me and trying to set off the alarm, and apparently they don't open for another hour, but I don't know why he thought I was thief because I was trying to use the self-checkout. Why would a thief pay for stuff SMH? My brain, refusing to focus. This paragraph. I do not vibe with it. Me, crying. Please, just fucking process the words on the paper. My brain, acting like a dramatic its vibes are wrong. I cannot read it. I hate when it be like this. You know, I've never done a chia pet, but I tried really hard. You know what? He'd be proud of you. Thank you. Will there ever be anything more timelessly funnier on this site than seeing some joyless idiot asserting their stupid controversial worldviews internet tough guy style and then checking their blog and they are just completely openly and shamelessly addicted to hentai? The biggest scam of all time was convincing kids that Wikipedia, a free source of unlimited information, isn't reliable when there's literal sources at the bottom and a strict editing policy. Seriously though, as someone who put literal years of effort into creating a Wikipedia hoax, it's basically impossible to get away with for more than like an hour. They're fking vigilant. I tried to build up trust by doing legit editing, but my account got reviewed cause I approved a page that mismeasured the size of a ship by a few centimeters. So I had a nightmare a few months ago that I saw Jerry Seinfeld in a bar and I asked him to tell me a joke and he says, "Alright, this one is top secret, don't tell anyone." And he takes a drink and says, "What's the deal with black people? They're not black and they're not people." And then he held me at knife point. Great octopus, 10 out of 10, shiny. This is a first edition holographic octopus. This is worth a lot of money. Procrastinating on Wikipedia and found this. So, there's a pretty long tradition in math of people coming up with problems they can't solve and talking to their friends and realizing that nobody they know can solve them either, and then announcing to the world that you would get some sort of prize if someone could solve them. Usually, the prize is a small amount of money. Sometimes, if someone is really cocky or the problem is known to be really hard, it's a lot of money. And sometimes, there's Stanislaw Mazur, who offered a live goose as a prize for finding a particularly pathological object, a Banach space, for which some compact operator is not the limit of finite rank operators. And then, Parenflo did manage to find such an object. Today, there is photographic evidence that he did, in fact, receive his prize. Go look at that picture and tell me that Enflo is not 100% pumped about his goose. The older Mazur, on the other hand, looks mostly like, what the F? This fool actually called my bluff. The photograph is a delight. I cannot but suspect that this intersection of mathematics and geese may speak to you. The construction of a Banach space without the approximation property earned Parenflo a live goose in 1972, which had been promised by Stanislaw Mazur left in 1936. When will my field finally award me my rightful goose? Day 24,093. This is my house. I won't allow anyone to harm it. There should have been no more intruders after the last one. I do not want these people here. They will leave. Day 24,095. They are siblings. They are loud. Always singing and talking and stomping. As if they must be louder than anything else. Day 24,106. There are bolts on the door now. Bolts and hideous gaudy new locks. How dare they? Night 24,112. I was going to fill the night with terrors. But he woke up screaming before I began. She came running from the other room. They sleep right across the hall from each other, with the doors on a crack. They are young, are they not, to be living on their own? Was I ever so young? Day 24,129. She has fixed the squeak in the door at the top of the stairs. It never squeaked when I still lived. Day 24,121. The noise of the doorbell scares them, but they get so many deliveries. It is a good bell. It has worked all these years. I can see one of the men coming now with his packages, trudging up to the door. Perhaps, if I knock before he is here, they will come and look before he can sound the bell. Day 24,114. He is planting flowers in boxes on my windowsills. I always wished I could have some flowers. Night 24137. She is afraid of the dark. I could see it in her eyes when she got out of bed. I lit the lamps for her. Day 24142. They have moved the couch to the sunspot a little to the right of the window. That is where I used to have my armchair. It is the only sensible place for it. Day 24163. Sometimes the noises of the world are suddenly too much for him. He winces and tries not to sway his head. This is my house. I can keep it calm and quiet for a while. Day 24178. She just got a phone call and now they are both laughing. Laughter is a good sound, isn't it? They said this house has been good luck. Night 24205. They are singing in our kitchen. He found my cookbook in the gap at the back of the kitchen cabinet, and now they are trying to cook. They wanted to start with the souffle. They don't even know how to make bechamel. I turned the page to the casserole instead. Day 24236. This is my house. These are my borders. I won't allow anyone to harm them. I'm crying. This just hit all my emotions. I love this so much. Local ghost adopts children. I'm super sad. Can I have a weird random phrase / fact? Beer was invented and brewed by women for most of human history. The oldest surviving beer recipe is a Sumerian poem honoring the patron goddess of brewing. The first known drinking straws were also Sumerian and used for drinking beer to avoid solid byproducts of fermentation. Good chance those were made by women too. The oldest drinking straw in existence, Sumerian Tum, 3000 BC, is made of gold and lapis lazuli. Also, plastic straws actually have an insignificant environmental impact. Capitalists just want you to think the impetus is on individual consumer, not the underregulated companies responsible for the vast majority of global pollution. Police companies, not people. Important addition. The beer brewing women would often, at least in medieval Europe, wear pointed hats as a symbol of their profession. You know, women with pointed hats, knowledge of various herbs, proficient in brewing, working with a cauldron. Sounds familiar? When, at some point, the patriarchy decided brewing beer was a man's job, women who did it were immediately demonized, as the patriarchy does, and, boom, the stereotypical witch with a cauldron and a pointy hat had come into existence. So, every time you're drinking beer, it's actually a bootleg potion. Aloy's / Brewsters traditionally brewed in steaming cauldrons, owned cats to keep away rodents from the grain storage, sometimes wore distinct hats to make them easy to recognize when selling at markets. Hung broom like ale poles or stakes as signs to indicate fresh ale was for sale. And yeah, after thousands of years of home brewing, the church hustled in and pressure for monks to take over the industry because money, I'm guessing depriving women of independent income also didn't hurt, which was about when hops became a major player in brewing. The significancy of this being A. In the short term, the beer stays fresh longer, and B. In the long term, significant hop consumption, how to say this politely, decreases bonus. Both of which would be of interest to monks. Monks ruined beer.